a little bit about the Trump shutdown, and let's talk about Syria, okay? So all of a sudden, all these damn Democrats, they've been for Syria, killing Syrians for quite some time. They want to arm the ISIS terrorists. They want to arm all the terrorists of Al-Qaeda to fight against the government of Assad because... And then the Russians and Iran, Russia's position is you can't invade a sovereign nation, which is correct. You cannot invade another sovereign nation. When they went into Crimea, how can we tell them that they cannot go into Crimea when we go into Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, 20 fucking countries in Africa, basically any third world country that doesn't have nuclear weapons? That's who the United States think that they can invade at any fucking time that they want to. And I think that's absolute bullshit. That's the reason why we got the United Nations. That's the reason why we went into World War II. That's the reason why the Nazis were enemies, because they went into another nation and they invaded. They invaded Czechoslovakia. They invaded Poland. So all these assholes, all of a sudden, they give a shit about the Kurds? Yeah, right. They weren't calling for fucking Syrian war 4 years ago in order to protect the Kurds. The Kurds have northern Iraq, for one thing. And if there is, we're not going to leave the Kurds, okay? So we're going to retreat to the Kurds, and we're going to stick with the Kurds the entire time. And we'll have to talk to Assad. If Assad and Turkey fucks with the Kurds, well, they've already elected to get themselves Kurdistan over there. So let's just go ahead and build themselves a country. We're in a nation building anyways. This is a nation that's, been there for quite some time. I want to talk about the Kurds, but I just want to quickly get through the Trump shutdown, okay? So we've had a history of the Kurds. The Kurds have been hanging on, man. They're like Muhammad Ali, just rope-a-dope, and they're just hanging on for dear life, just making sure the entire world is all tired, and before, by the time everybody's tired, then they're just going to fucking go ape shit. And Peshmerga, those are some bad bitches. You want to see some bad bitch warriors? Look at the Peshmerga warriors. That's a bad bitch right there. In fact, all bad bitches should be compared to Peshmergan warriors, right? So Peshmerga, I hope I'm saying that right. But that's the Kurds. Okay, so Trump has shut down the government because he wants $5 billion for a wall. It was announced. Somebody said that the House had voted for it. No, the House didn't vote for it. They didn't have enough votes in the House. They didn't have enough votes in the Senate, which is crazy because those are Republican-controlled entities up until next year. So they can't. The Republicans won't give Trump his money, or the Democrats are wily enough that they're pulling some fucking shenanigans from the inside the machine in order to make sure that he doesn't get his money. But the government is shut down. And 75% of the government is paid until September 30th of next year. So there's only 3 agencies that's not being funded right now. So again, 75% of the government is going to be paid until September 30th. The mail is going to go out. There's still postal deliveries. There's still law enforcement, still border patrol, still airport operations. So some of the rhetoric is a little bit out of control. Yeah, he wants a border wall, but he's not saying no to border patrol. But then they're saying, well, there's 40,000 federal employees are going to be furloughed, temporary leave. Well, they're not going to get their paychecks. They're not going to. No, they're going to get their money. So it's not a total. It's a Trump shutdown. He's going to take the blame because he don't give a fuck, right? So it is his fault, and he might be able to, get through this thing because essentially he's saying, give me what I want, or else, that's just his signature piece of legislation. So this is his Obamacare. I can understand why he would want to fight for it, and it's taken 2 years. I heard that he got it, so I was kind of like, oh, okay. I'm not inherently against the wall. I'm not inherently, there's a wall right here, right? I mean, I'm not against these walls. Walls keep out the elements. Walls help organize houses. Walls, property lines, they help to keep things organized. This land is over here. I can do what I want on this land. That land is over there. That's yours. You do what you want. Here's a storage closet, here's a bedroom, here's a basement, walls are good. Walls, I'm not inherently against a wall. I'm inherently against crime. I'm inherently against murder, rape, violence, but I'm not automatically against the goddamn wall, okay? So, and I also believe in borders. So without borders, you don't have a country. Well, who gives a shit? Put up a fucking wall, don't put up a fucking wall. Hillary Clinton was for a wall. So these Democrats are all of a sudden, what? They wouldn't have said shit if Hillary was building the fucking wall, but because Donald is. And I'm opposed to the wall because fuck Donald. I mean, I remember what the Republicans did to the Democrats. The Republicans were obstructionist pieces of shit. And they fought against Obama every single step of the way. Obama kept extending his hands. The Republicans kept smacking that hand right out. He kept extending it. Please be my friend, Republicans. Please be my friends. And at no point in fucking time did they give a shit about that. And that's how Donald Trump was able to be snuck up the middle. So the Democrats should do the exact same thing. The American people aren't paying attention to the congressmen and the senators. So the Democrats should try to sabotage Donald. And then when the whole thing collapses, he'll get the blame. And then people will just go ahead and vote in Bernie Sanders, right? So just, you don't have to be a good senator or be a good congressman. The Mitch McConnell principle is you sabotage the president. When the president fails, the American people will blame the president. They won't blame anybody else, and then you'll, just go unscathed. So there's 3 departments not being paid. Homeland Security is not being paid. Department of Agriculture is not being paid. The Department of Justice, 400,000 federal employees are furloughed. They're on temporary leave. But law enforcement, border patrol, mail delivery, airport operations will still carry on. So this is a 25% Trump shutdown, 25% government shutdown, Homeland Security shutdown. They killed Jacqueline, so Homeland Security can kiss my ass. Department of Agriculture, the farms, we need farms, but factory farms, Department of Justice. What are they? I mean, the war on drugs, what are they doing? What does the Department of Justice, what do these damn federal fucking agencies do? I don't talk to my government. I really don't, talk to the Department of Agriculture, Justice, or Homeland Security. I just, what the hell are they going to do for me? I'd rather not. So, Donald Trump told Mitch McConnell to go nuclear. So that's where we're at right now. He wants his $5 billion for a wall. The House and the Senate didn't vote for him. He's pushing McConnell to go nuclear. So I guess he thinks that if he could get the Senate to go along with it, then he'll be in like Flynn. Okay, so that's the Trump shutdown. It's right now. It's December 22nd. So technically speaking, right, the deadline passed midnight, and so I think the shutdown's going to be tonight, or it was last night. So it's going to be like a day or two. Usually Mitch McConnell comes in at the end and saves everybody, right? So it's like, this is all just a bunch of drama that D.C. fucking drums up for themselves. It's Christmas time. They need to get a couple wins. They got that criminal justice bill passed. They're getting out of Syria. So, there's a lot of red meat there for people to talk about Christmas time. Monday is Christmas Eve. So he's telling McConnell to go nuclear, so basically push as hard as he possibly can. McConnell, do as the hell as you please, right? Go nuclear. That's kind of dangerous rhetoric. The commander-in-chief, who's got access to all the nuclear weapons, is sitting there telling other people to go nuclear. Hey, Mitch McConnell, yeah, why don't you just go nuclear. Just throw every fucking nuke at him. Just take every nuke that you got and just chuck it at him. Just take the nukes. Just put it on a short little fuse, just have a little red button, and just push every single one of those red buttons. Just push them all, Just go nuclear, Mitch McConnell. Just go fucking nuclear. It just makes me a little nervous, I guess, when the one man who controls all the world's nukes is sitting there telling other people to go nuclear just for, in rhetoric, in terms of rhetoric, go nuclear. Why not just, shoot a Hail Mary? Why don't you go to Hail Mary pass? Or something, go nuclear. And what if, does he mean that intentionally? I mean, is that a death threat? That could be a death threat, right? Who the fuck, no telling with this fucker. Okay, so, now, just said he was a fucker, right? Now Donald's actually doing something good. Donald isn't just a stop clock. He does have, he puts on his shoes and shit. So I think he's about 5% right. He's not progressive. There's 3 main things that I was looking at in my litmus test 4 years ago or 2 years ago. And it was poverty, and it was marijuana, and it was war. So Hillary wasn't good with war and poverty. So he hasn't done shit with poverty. He hasn't done shit with marijuana. But with war, this is the first right step that he's done, and he's going to withdraw in 30 days. It took us in Vietnam, we waited till the last second, but in Operation Fury, we was able to get everybody out in a couple days. Somalia, we was able to get out of Somalia, and it's a withdrawal. So again, I think we just take 30 days, take our time, and slowly scale back to the areas of Kurdistan. And Kurdistan, I want to talk about the Kurds, okay? I want to talk about the Kurds. Now, It's crazy that the Democrats, I feel, here's what's happening. People listen to MSNBC, they don't have their own brains, they're a bunch of ditto heads, and they listen to Hillary Clinton say, war, she's a right-winger piece of shit. She was pushing for war up against Russia. She's a Cold War paranoia war hawk. So she's sitting there saying we need to go into Syria because fuck Russia, but we're invading Syria. Russia gets in saying, well, you can't invade other, sovereign nations, so they're defending Syria's sovereignty, not Syria's policies. It says Assad is a piece of shit, but essentially we lost this war. The Pentagon and the CIA are putting their own terrorists in, so we got a CIA program, we had a Pentagon program. Obama's the one that started it in 2014. We've been doing this war for the past 4 years. People are not paying attention to none of this shit. Nobody talked about the Kurds. Nobody said we needed to invade Syria to save the Kurds. That was never a thing. All of a sudden it's a thing now because it's like, I think white people are just afraid whenever Donald does any change that happens to be good because they want to say Donald's a demon, he's a piece of shit. But Hillary Clinton was a war hawk, and actually the one thing that the Russians were sitting there saying about Donald was that he's a peacenik. He's a peace candidate. And he is a peace candidate because Hillary wouldn't have ever pulled out of Syria. She would have pulled out in any fucking war. Hillary has loved every goddamn war that's ever come her fucking way. The mess that's in Libya, then, the Hondurans, the murder capital of the world, Berta Cáceres, all this refugee crisis. I mean, they didn't give a shit about the refugees, too. And don't even bring up fucking Hillary. You want to waste your goddamn vote? You want to sit there and talk to me about wasting your fucking vote? Yeah, vote for a goddamn Democrat that pretends to be a fucking Republican. How about this, Democrats? You want to win over the people? Why don't you actually be a progressive? Actually be against the war. Be for peace. Be for peace. Be for love. Be for solidarity. Be for the working class people. How come Donald Trump was able to get the working class people on his side? The working class, the Republicans, the working class are going towards the Republicans. So that means even the historical historically Democrats cared about the poor. They're losing the historical base too. So Donald Trump said that military spending is crazy. It is crazy. He's getting out of Syria. He's talking about getting out of Afghanistan. Now, when I say these things, people, act like I'm this crazy hippie or peacenik or, like I'm out of my mind or I'm anti-military, right? But he's sitting there saying military spending is crazy because it is fucking crazy. $1 trillion. We spend $1 trillion. We spend more than the entire world combined, and it's for empire, right? Why are we empire? Why aren't we isolationist? Why do we say we're the ones in charge? Why don't we put the United Nations in charge? The United Nations is housed in New York City. So, it's already in our country. It doesn't have any teeth unless we back it. The United Nations is basically our baby anyways. So to say that we need to circumvent the United Nations for what the fuck ever reason, maybe in the greatest of extenuating, the most rarest of cases, should you just go ahead and invade. If Russia started invading us, maybe we don't need to get UN approval. But for fuck's sake, we should do all war. All war should go through fucking the UN. I'll cede my war authority for most of it, 99% of all my war authority, to the United Nations. Because why? Because when the entire world says that country should not invade that country, we should listen. When the entire world fucking says it. So everybody except for the Greens and the hippies support Donald on this move. A lot of people are sitting there, pointing out the hypocrisy, the Democrats and the war machine, the media. The media is big time into the war. Just keep on killing, war for war's sake, murder for the fuck of murdering, right? I don't understand why white people would be afraid of this. It's like the only thing, I guess, maybe it's a change that Donald is making, and it's a good change, and they don't want anybody to like Donald for any reason. So because he's doing something good, it's like they're afraid that maybe he could win everybody over with this shit. He could win me over if he ends the fucking war. This is the first step in ending the war. How do you got 7 wars. How do you stop all those wars? Well, first you end one of them, and then you end the second one, and then you keep on. Even the Young Turks, Anna Jink and Kyle Kalinske, they all support the withdrawal. So that's amazing. Jill Stein says we got to get out of all these wars. So, including out of Afghanistan, which Donald is even talking about getting out of Afghanistan. This shit's amazing. Okay? Because none of the anti-war people could get, any troops to come back home. It was Nixon that got us out of Vietnam. So, Nixon is the one that signed the damn peace agreement and basically set the timetable for us to get the fuck out. So it's these damn Republicans are the ones that get us out of these fucking wars. And the Democrats, they just love every goddamn war, you know, if it comes across their desk, they just love it. Why do we have to go into Libya? Libya's been, there's slavery. There's literal slavery in Libya right now. We didn't help Libya at all. Tunisia, they turned out okay. They're like, Tunisia is the only country in the Arab Spring that did well. So Stephen Miller is sitting there saying we need to get out of all these wars, so disheveled, you know, whatever the other fucking advisor is. He's got a lot of anti-war people against, you know, and then that was one thing we did want. We do want him talking to, you know, if he could talk to dictators, the best way to turn an enemy around is to make him your friend. So if we can, you know, make our enemies our friends, and that, you know, goes ahead and that disarms a threat right then and there. So it is frustrating. It's frustrating because it's like the Republicans are a bunch of warmongers. They don't say shit when he says we're going to pull out. Well, he's doing right. He's doing good. So any of you Republicans that have no principles or morality and don't know shit for shit, he's doing something good here. He's doing something great. He's being for peace. We've killed 99% of ISIS. He could walk away, you know, with our head held high, and we're not going to leave the Kurds behind. There's one small section in northeast Syria. So just withdraw up into that region, and it's right next to northern Iraq, where they've already voted for an independent Kurdistan to begin with. But the Republic of Iraq was against it, which is some bullshit, okay? So Iraq needs to let Kurdistan go, and if Turkey or Syria fucks with the Kurds, well, then let's just go ahead and carve Kurdistan out of Turkey and Syria, right where it's at. Kurdistan is most of Kurdistan is in Turkey and northern Iraq, and there's a tiny little piece in Syria. So people want to talk about the Kurds. Let's talk about the Kurds in a second here, okay? So people are saying like what? The fucking argument is so crazy. They had to have just heard the damn thing, and they're just repeating it, right? Because they're telling me that Donald Trump is stupid and he shouldn't make a unilateral decision to stop the war. He shouldn't make a unilateral decision to go for peace. He shouldn't just be able to, you know, why do we give him all that damn power? He's the commander-in-chief. He's got all the fucking war powers that you could possibly fucking imagine. He controls the Navy, the Marines, the ATF, all the fucking federal agencies. He's the commander-in-chief, and we're at war. And we've been at war since 2001 against terrorists. That the war on terror, we got the authorization to use military force against those enemies of 9/11, which was Al-Qaeda. Remember this? Anybody? Am I the only one on this? So we've been fighting this forever war, which is a war on a tactic, war on terror, right? So just anybody who uses terror, war is terror, but specifically Al-Qaeda. And then all of a sudden ISIS is appearing, so we're using ISIS, but then we're also, some terrorists we're giving money to, other terrorists we're killing. Who the fuck is terrorist, who isn't the terrorist? Nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. So Obama got us into it, the CIA's dropping bombs, the Pentagon's dropping bombs. As soon as Donald gets into office, he's launching some military strikes on a Russian airport that's back into operation the very next day. So it was like just a overt saying, you know, we're in this war, we've been in this war, now the whole world knows we're in this war, and he was criticized for it, rightfully so, right, just firing a bunch of fucking missiles off for no goddamn reason. But now he's saying, you know, before he said 97%'s wiped out, 99%, what the fuck? We can walk away with our heads held high. We got our job. The objective is done. People want to say that we got to curb Russian and Iran influence. We have plenty of military bases over there, so we don't need to be in Syria. We're in Iraq, right? Iraq is right there. And there's Kurdistan. We can protect the Kurds. So all their fucking arguments is just a bunch of bullshit. They're just trying to say, don't like Donald for doing something good. Donald is going to be 5% right. He's wrong on marijuana. He's wrong on the war on drugs. He's a fascist. Trumpism is American fascism. He's still in, Africa and Afghanistan. He committed a war crime. Yemen, the drone strike an American girl. So he can be impeached for war crimes as it is. So, if he continues what he's doing now, though, being a man of peace, I mean, it would be awesome if he could end the war. Again, marijuana, poverty, and war. Those are the three main issues that I factored in with who I voted for and who I want to support. So another crazy thing about this is they don't trust Donald to withdraw us in 30 days, but they do trust Donald to maintain troops and to order our troops into battle and to go invade this country and that country and do this. So they don't trust Donald to withdraw troops, but they do trust Donald to start wars and invade new countries and shoot missiles, and they're going to trust Donald to continue to fire missiles and to continue conducting wars in foreign lands. So trust Donald to conduct wars in foreign lands, but don't trust him to withdraw. Well, which the fuck is it, okay? They also don't give a shit about the other genocides. The Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, there's a fucking genocide. America, world, if you're not paying any goddamn attention, there's a genocide that's happening in Myanmar. We just give that lady, you know, fucking Nobel Prize or something for democracy. There's a fucking genocide. They've uncovered it. The people that uncovered it are in jail. They might have been dead now. They might have been killed. People have risked their lives. And we know that it's happening. Rohingya Muslims, and they're Muslims. Are we going to turn our head because they're Muslims? The Rohingya Muslims are being killed in Myanmar. Nobody's doing shit about it. If we were truly the world's policemen and we gave a damn about other people, you want to talk about a humanitarian crisis that we could actually go in and do some good? We could go into Myanmar. You know what we could also do? Just stop fucking genocide in Yemen. Just tell Saudi Arabia to knock it the fuck off, and it would end today. It would end today. There's another humanitarian crisis. Yeah, everybody gives a shit about the fucking Kurds, but you're not talking about the genocide in Yemen. You're not talking about the genocide of the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar. And there's a refugee crisis being created right now in Venezuela, created by U.S. policies or the CIA. I mean, they got a bunch of hotels in Venezuela. So they're sitting there saying that they trust Trump's infinite war powers in Syria. Do they trust Trump's infinite war powers to invade any other country he feels like it? Just go ahead and use whatever missiles and bombs you want, Trump. We're not going to trust you to be able to withdraw, but we're going to trust you to be able to get the fuck out of here. So I didn't talk much about the Kurds. I'm going to come back and talk about the Kurds. The battery's about to die, so more coming up.